Welcome to Dr. P.C. Verma Economics YouTube class. In this class, we discuss economics and Indian economy before independence and after independence. Before independence, we had British colonial government in India, which imposed restrictions on exports to protect British industries and maintain their economic dominance. During the period of 1930-32, for the first time, the British colonial government in India imposed restrictions on export to protect British industries and maintain their economic dominance. Some key restrictions include cotton, textile, jute, tea, iron and steel, and it has led to impact on Indian economy. That is called British India. What was the impact on British India during 1930-32 and thereafter? There was economic hardship. This created unemployment in India, British India. And in revenge, this had created national movement. What was the key event at that time? In 1928, all commission students know Simon Commission. Simon Commission, a British parliamentarian commission, recommended restrictions on Indian industry to protect British interest. Secondly, in 1930, Tariff Board was created by British India. British government established the Tariff Board to regulate Indian imports and exports, further restricting Indian industries. And thirdly, Ottawa Agreement, 1932. The Ottawa Agreement, a trade agreement between Britain and its dominions, further restricted Indian exports and reinforced British economic dominance. Here are some specific items that were restricted for export from India during 1930-32 period. Number 1, cotton textile. Number 2, jute. Number 3, tea. Number 4, iron and steel. Number 5, sugar. Number 6, indigo. Number 7, wheat. Number 8, rice. Number 9, oil seeds. Number 10, hides and skins. These restrictions were imposed by British colonial government to protect British industries and maintain their economic dominance. Principle of discriminating protection. Principle of discriminating protection under British government 1930-32 is very famous. In any interview, you will be asked in UPSC interview and BPSC interview. The principle of discriminating protection under the British government in India during 1930-32 refers to the policy of providing protection to a specific industries or groups while discriminating against others. Key principles behind it was protection of British interest. Protection of British interest. Discriminating discrimination against Indian industries, and selective protection. The examples of this discriminating protection is cotton textile industry in India, British India, jute industry, British India, tea in British India. British government provided protection to Indian tea industry, which is largely owned by British planters. What was its impact? We all know that its impact, economic hardship in India, British India. The discriminating protection policy led to economic hardship for Indian industry and workers, created unemployment. The restrictions resulted widespread unemployment in India, exacerbating poverty and social unrest. This created national movement. The policy fueled the Indian national movement, with many Indians viewing it as an example of British exploitation. So, this is most important factor. And in any pre-independence era, in questions are asked before independence, then British colonial restrictions policy on exports and export restrictions and discriminating protection. These are most important factors which are to be discussed today. During the period during the period of 1930 and 32, the British colonial government British colonial British colonial government in India imposed restrictions on export to protect British industries. what we find out that during the period of 1930-32, the British colonial government in India imposed restrictions on exports to protect British industry and maintain their economic dominance. Key restrictions are on certain commodities, and number one is cotton textiles. British government imposed quota and tariffs on Indian cotton textile exports to protect British textile industry. Number two is jute. India was the largest producer of jute. India was largest producer of jute, and the British government and the and the British government restricted restricted jute exports. Jute exports. India was the largest producer of jute, and the British government restricted jute exports to maintain to maintain to maintain a monopoly. Monopoly on the global market. The global market. Number three is tea. The British government imposed restrictions on tea export. The British government imposed restrictions imposed restrictions on on Indian tea export tea export to protect the to protect the to protect the interests interests of British interest of interests of British tea planter interest of British British tea British tea British tea planters British tea planters in India. Number 4, iron and steel. Iron and steel. The British government the British government restricted restricted Indian iron Indian iron and steel exports to protect to protect the British iron, and steel industry. Impact on India. Impact on British India. The export restrictions led to significant significant economic hardship. Economic hardship. Economic hardship for Indian industry. Indian industries. Particularly textiles and jute. Particularly textiles and jute. Number two, Unemployment. Unemployment. The restrictions. The restrictions resulted in resulted in in wide widespread unemployment in India, exacerbating exa- exacerbating ex- exacer- exacerbating poverty and social unrest. Unemployment. The restrictions resulted in the widespread unemployment in India, exer- exacerbating poverty and social unrest. National nationalistic nationalist movement. The export restrictions export restrictions where the Indian nationalist movement with many Indians with many Indians viewing the restrictions restrictions as an example, as an example of British exploitation. British exploitation. Key events during 1928, 1932 in British India. Simon Commission. Simon Commission, a British parliament parliament parliamentary British Parliamentary Commission. Yes. Restrictions on Indian industry to protect British interest, to protect British interest. Number two, tariff boards, tariff board, tariff board. The British government the British government established established the tariff board. Tariff boards, tariff board to regulate Indian import, Indian to regulate Indian imports and export, imports and exports. Further, restricting restricting further restricting Indian industries. Number three, Ottawa Agreement. Ottawa Ottawa Agreement, 1932. Ottawa Agreement between Britain and its dominions. For the restricted Indian exports and reinforced 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 British economic development. British economic dominance. Following a specific items that were restricted for export from India during the 1930 32 period. Cotton, textiles, jute, tea, iron, and steel, sugar, indigo, wheat, rice, oilseeds, hides, and skins. These restrictions these restrictions were imposed by the British British colonial British colonial government to protect British industry and maintain maintain their economic dominance. Thus, we come to the conclusion of the present study that the following specific items that were restricted for export from India during 1930-32 period. Number one, cotton textiles. Number two, jute. Number three, tea. Number four, iron and steel. Number five, sugar. Number six, indigo. Number seven, wheat. Number eight, rice. Number nine, oil seeds. Number 10, hides and skins. These restrictions were imposed by the British colonial government to protect British industry and maintain their economic dominance. So we were forced to remain underdeveloped or undeveloped during the British period. whatever development you look forward, that is actually parts of internal drains and external drains, which are another topic to be discussed in coming classes. Dadabhai Nauroji had rightly discussed it. Internal drains and external drains, two types of drains created by British government. So nice to teach you in the first month of 2025. I am very delightful for teaching students in economics this year 2025. I have been teaching economics from 1973 to 2025. I taught in different colleges, but the main college where I worked for 44 years, that is Patna College, Patna University, Department of Economics. I worked as university professor and head of Department of Economics, Patna College, Patna. Great university, great college, and great students, which has forced teachers to read and teach from original sources. The students at Patna College read original books like Adam Smith's book, Wealth of a Nation, Marshall's book, The Principle of Economics. The students stand in the class and ask questions from Marshall's book, page number 205. Explain it. What's the meaning? Such a level of students was there 50 years ago. Level is always not same. Ups and down comes. Medium was teaching in English. Several years, but recently, before my retirement, there were a group of students who requested for Hindi medium lecture, or partially both mixing English and Hindi. Whatever be the outcome. But I have seen that in the classroom, first bench, second bench, third bench, in UPSC, scoring 8th position in India, 7th position in India, 10th position in India. In BPSC deputy collector, 50% of the class got the job. It was my conviction that economics student cannot remain unemployed. I've never seen any economics students being unemployed. Anywhere there are many scope, and if you have some background of statistics, mathematics, econometrics, then the sky is the limit for economics students. Several types of work, research work, and other works are available at central level, state level. Posts are there for reserved for economics students. Even today in Bihar, for becoming sale tax or GST commissioner, you have to opt economics. In no other subject is such type of restrictions. But in Bihar Financial Service, this restriction is still maintained that you must have economics or statistics or commerce, either of the two. Economics has not only been art subject, it has become science subject. My students who have qualified from a master degree, Andhra Pradesh University, his certificate is MSc in mathematics, MSc in economics. In Madras, in Kolkata also, MSc, BSc in economics. In Delhi University also, there is some department giving economics, BSc economics. It is because of the fact that large number of mathematical calculations are, and nowadays in foreign countries, 50% works are related to computer and Excel and others, using finding out correlation, regression, a realistic, in a realistic form, not only a theoretical form. In 1970, when I passed graduation economics honors, at that time, some suggested me to take econometrics, statistics, mathematical economics. At that time, there were only few students in master's degree. Everyone has to know it. Teachers are also not well equipped. But fortunately, I took this econometrics, mathematical economics, and statistics at master's level, got 96% marks in some of the papers. And I continue to develop it for coming students in my college teachers period. Large number of science students, ISC, they could not become engineer or doctor. This opted economics, and in economics they become very, very important and very, very intelligent student because they use mathematics, calculus, matrices, determinants, vectors. All these are used in demand and supply. And this topic in British Indian economy, we taught this 1930-32, most important period, the last phase of British government, where discriminating protection, we will discuss in next class, was also implemented. Restrictions on exports we have discussed. Next class we will discuss discriminating protection, which are for the first time implemented in India. Thank you for watching this video. One thing I will say you, that like it, I see many dancer, more likes, politician, more likes, musician, more likes, a story writer, more likes, Kavita Path, more likes. But in my case, likes are very, very low. I don't think why so. Someone said that economics is not a full of happiness subject. This is not the fact. Economics is full of happiness. Economics tells us about welfare. Economics tells us how to increase happiness among people. Economics tells us how to distribute income among the people. Economics teaches us progressive taxation. Economics teaches us how to control public expenditure. And welfare economics has become most important part. If you see Marshall's book, just you go in libraries, just see first page, first chapter, first page, first paragraph, and second paragraph. First page, first and second paragraph you read, you will find out Marshall has opted for welfare and very much careful how to remove poverty. He looked into the eyes of poor people and he visited different areas where poor people are living. They met them and actually Marshall developed. So in the first page of Principles of Economics, chapter 1, Marshall has discussed the problem of poverty, repercussion of poverty, exploitation through poverty. And unless this poverty is reduced, eliminated, there cannot be increase in welfare in the economy. Poverty is directly related to employment. Unemployment leads to poverty. And employment is a removal of poverty. And therefore, employment is the most important factor in the economy. Marshall, in the first page, discussed about problem of poverty in the economy. You check it in your library. Marshall's book and first page, first chapter, chapter 1 in the second paragraph, you will find out how poverty is creating problem in human life. You think Marshall talked about poverty, giving prime position in his book, first page, in 1890. This is 2025. Poverty is still a problem in India. Poverty is still a problem in the world economy. So economics is the solution, real economics. Bhutan is happy because of happiness index. What is happiness index? Happiness index means in a week, how many times you laughed. You will ask most of the people, they say, I'm not recalling when I laughed, because he is always weeping. Even in dream weeping, in a conscious period of time he is weeping. But go there in Bhutan, everyone is laughing. Everyone has a laughing face. No quarreling. One of my students worked as their lecturer, and he revealed these facts. So let us do some works which will lead to the removal of poverty and happiness. Laugh, you laugh, world will laugh with you. Thank you. This is time to say you happy New Year, first month. Just we are crossing, and I wish that if you are a student, then you must get job. You must get your preferred post. My blessings to you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Share it, like it, subscribe it, and tell your friends to share it again and again.